getting scary. Words like divorce are being thrown around. And I'm like, you know what? I started watching that Netflix series about the Cowboys. And
Good.
It's so good if you have not watched it. It's phenomenal. But I'm watching Jerry talk about the Emmett deal and signing Dion, and how when Jerry talks about controversial is not a bad thing. If anything in sports and business, it creates interest. And you know what? I'm feeling like this is gonna get done. I'm not worried anymore. You cannot trick me. I am not worried at all. Because I think back to last season when I was in Cleveland and they're playing the Cowboys, and a couple hours or an hour before kickoff, news broke. Schefter broke the news of Dak, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This whole time we're talking all off season about this. And right at the buzzer, Jerry gets it done. So until week 1 comes and I do not see Micah standing there, I'm not giving Jerry anymore. I think this is all strategy. You want Micah's side to hear, like, we got a whole team. We got to pay everybody. I think this is all part of the negotiations. And until week 1 comes, I'm not going to worry about it.
All right, Kimberly's not buying it. Mina, what's your take?
Well, I guess if it's part of the negotiations, I like you guys struggle to see who he is negotiating with and what the point of this is, other than getting more attention from us, which I suppose mission accomplished. I also think he's going to be there, to me, purely because if he wasn't, it would go down as one of the all-time fumbles. And Chris, I remember doing First Take with you months ago, and you raised the possibility of trading Micah Parsons, and I vehemently agreed with that. But at least there would have been some logic to that when it would have been valuable for Dallas. At this point, it's just silly and a waste of everybody's time. And as far as Jerry's argument, and we've heard this before, where owners, GMs talk about the reluctance to pay people stemming from building a complete team. It's a hard-capped league, all of that. It's not the star player's job to take a discount so that you can afford everyone else. It's your job to draft affordable, talented players who are on rookie contracts. It's one of the great advantages that you have in this league, is that rookie wage scale, and then fill the roster that way. This is not on Micah Parsons. It's completely on the Cowboys front office.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Mina. I agree with you wholeheartedly about best players not having to take a discount or not having to make the salary cap work. He's not the general manager, and apparently Jerry Jones wants Micah Parsons to be his own agent as well. But the aspect of this that I think is concerning for Cowboys fans is what version of Micah Parsons you're going to get if, in fact, he's going to play in week 1, knowing that they've been in training camp a month and the guy hasn't done more than a walkthrough, right? There is a ramp-up period in the NFL. There is an aspect of this where you want him to get acclimated to doing football movements. If you're going to play football, the best way to get ready for that is by practicing football and playing in preseason games. And Micah hasn't done any of that. And the last place that the Dallas Cowboys want to be is in a position where Micah Parsons goes out there week 1, not acclimated to doing football movements, and it could potentially keep him out for an extended period of time this year. We saw it last year. It wasn't a pretty picture for that defense and the team as a whole. And that's the risk that the Dallas Cowboys have run by handling these Micah Parsons negotiations the way that they have.
Potentially taking a huge toll on his body. Kimberly, so you think he's going to start week 1?
I think this will get done. If I am advising Micah, I don't think he should step on the field. But I do think when Jerry talked, when he was on Fox News, he said he is a great player. I know we can talk about Jerry Jones and we can say, he's confusing, his logic doesn't seem to be there all the time as far as the negotiations. He's costing himself more money. But Jerry's not crazy. He's not crazy enough to botch this to the point of Micah wouldn't be on this team. I just don't see that happening. When you talk to people around the league, they still expect, week 1, they kind of shrug their shoulders he'll be a Cowboy. I don't know what the future holds beyond, but I just can't imagine that Jerry would understand that Micah is such a premier player, historical numbers early in his career, and yet we'd be in a situation of why didn't he trade him? Like Mina was saying, Cece, you've been saying it would make more sense logically, but logic doesn't always run parallel with Jerry Jones's thought process. I think it's about the attention. It is about how do we get more eyes on us. And in the end, if it costs me more money, it costs me more money, but the guys I want are still here.
Mina, you think he starts week 1?
I do. It's so rare for players to hold out. Maybe we saw, I think about Chris Jones week 1, Kansas City sitting out. That's kind of the most recent example, I suppose. I still think a deal gets done, but that's me operating from the place of it would just be so stupid if it didn't, that it has to happen. But the other thing that, Micah has working in his favor, aside from being one of the 3 best edge rushers in football, this defense is not good without him. There are holes at all 3 levels that have not been fixed, in my opinion. Defensive tackle remains an issue. Stopping the run, linebacker, huge question marks there. The cornerback room is incredibly injured. The case for this defense even being average or above rests entirely on them having a dominant pass rush. I like Donovan Ezeraku, who they drafted opposite him. You bring in Dante Fowler, you have good depth, but this does not work without Micah Parsons, and he must know that.
All right, to be continued on that subject, because we know it's not going anywhere. Let's get to our other major story, which has been the Bengals. No secret that the Bengals defense is their weakness and has not looked good this preseason. But head coach Zach Taylor isn't worried about how Cincy's looked thus far. Take a listen, ladies and gentlemen.